What is going on, guys, and welcome to a bit of an impromptu video that I really wanted to do. It's just answering a lot of the comments. So I did this in 2K24 and you guys seem to love it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about, and I hope you guys don't mind looking at the loading screen just for a quick minute while I just explain what I'm doing, basically. But I have a lot of you guys approach me saying, how do I make a YouTube channel? How do I book my universe mode? How do I make it exciting and fresh? Because I've played universe mode for years. Well, I don't have the answer for that, unfortunately. But what I am going to do in this video is tell you absolutely everything that I do to make my universe mode successful and to make it so that I enjoy it and make content for you guys. So I'm sorry if I'm not the same old jokey, idiotic commentator like I normally am. This is a bit more of a serious video, and I'm going to try to cover every question that you guys ask me. So I'm going to start with, of course, the most obvious one I get asked before we even go into the universe mode. It's the sliders. So I'm not going to talk to. I don't claim to be an expert on sliders because I'm not. I actually got these sliders from iBud's moveset. So I'm going to quickly just go over them. You can have a look. You can pause at any moment, see what you want to change. So for me, when I'm making universe mode content, and it's completely up to you if you're a YouTuber or if you're playing casually, do you want to be involved? How do you want to play universe mode? Do you want to book it like I do and then sort of choreograph the matches and look for spots? Do you want to just play it and have fun? Well, that's completely up to you. But I play on hard difficulty. I don't play on legendary because of the sliders. I can play on legend. I can do the same thing. But I just feel like for that element of realism, I like to put it on hard because it gives you a little bit more control over the match pacing. So I'm going to quickly scroll on my settings. So these are what I have. And then presentation, this is what I use. So I turn the superstar HUD off, but I leave the control, help, and match rating HUD on, just so I can see when I've got a signature and finisher. Don't really need the reversal prompt, but I have it because it's not that visually impairing. And I'm going to go through the sliders now. Now, I won't say anything about them, but the only thing I will say as I scroll down, and you guys can pause at any moment, because I notice people just rush through and don't like stop and let you guys see and go all the way to the bottom. So with these sliders, the objective that I have is to have 8 to 10 minute matches, 8 to 12 minutes, I'd say. So that's exactly why, and I don't touch these, to be honest, because I don't do AI versus AI. But if you're doing AI versus AI, there's some really good sliders on them. But they're basically the sliders I use, hard difficulty. Then when you're getting into the universe mode, so 2K25 is a relatively new game, and people are wondering, like, how on earth does Jack have CM Punk 10? How on earth does he have all the MyFaction characters? Well, I've played this game, the 2K games, since the inception, and I've always done the same thing every time that I've launched up WWE 2K25 2K games on launch, and I've always done things in the same method. And I highly recommend that if you guys haven't started anything, this is a very efficient way to do things. So when I'm loading up the game, and this is all universe mode related, what do? Well, I have a look on SmackDown Hotel. I see all the unlockables, I see what I can do, and this is applicable for the standard edition as well, not just the Bloodline edition like I got. So for me, I always plan to do a current day universe mode. So how can I enhance that? Well, the MyFaction talent. So, and I also do a Ruthless Aggression era universe mode, sorry. So Showcase is essential for me to make sure that I have the characters available. And I'm going to tell you quickly, and I'm going to touch on it very quickly about the community creations aspect. If you're looking for cause, I'm going to tell you exactly who to search and what tags to search to get all of the creators that I get, who do a tremendous job, by the way, an absolutely amazing job. So my personal favourite creator, and I don't know if they'll see this video, is Absolution. And Absolution specialises in female creators, and there's Ariana Grace there that I'm definitely going to pick up right now. But Absolution, I'm sure they won't mind me sharing that they go by the name Lost August 12. And this Ariana Grace is great, by the way, so I'm going to quickly download that while I talk to you. So anything female-based in WWE games, this is my... Absolution is my primary source. If I don't go to Absolution, I look for attires. So I'd really trust the creators that I use, and they're the ones that I want to support. So I will wait for Absolution to put on a certain court, and if they don't have it, they don't have it. Another tag for anything outside of WWE, indie wrestlers, AEW, whatever, is GTEO. I know you're like, what the hell? This is a community of creators that focus strictly on the outside of WWE and cause that are outside the WWE. So if you look here at all the calls, you got Azaria there, you got Ricochet, Zack Sabre Jr. They're all absolutely brilliant. And these guys upload regularly. It's a group of creators. Travis, who you can see, who's made this amazing Tony Storm. Another tremendous creator. And this community is the community that I use for every other creation. So I either go to Absolution or the hashtag GTEO. And that's where I find all the cars that I use. I would not use a car, really, unless I'm looking for a very specific one outside of that. So the first thing I do, you guys can do if you're on next gen, because I'm on next gen. I am on last gen. I do have the game on PC as well, but them tags are still relevant. If you're on PC, try use what's the status, because he's obviously the most reliable across all of them. But there is some up and coming creators, so just keep an eye out for them. So the first thing you should do is, once you have your plan in place and you kind of have an idea of what you're doing, do you want it to be realistic, fantasy, whatever you want to do, is head over to community creation, see what these great creators have to offer. You can also search things yourself. You don't have to do exactly what I do, but that's just what I use, and I want to be completely transparent with everybody. I don't want to hide any secrets. I don't want to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. So now we're talking about in-game. So remove community creations. How did I get the rosters that I have on my universe modes? And we'll go into the setup, and we'll go into... I won't go so much in booking because I've already done that and it's still the same. So the way I play WWE, upon launching, I got the early access on the 7th. The first thing I did was complete the showcase 100%. I didn't even load up universe mode. I didn't look at universe mode. In fact I did. I loaded up the promos. I had a look at them, just saw what they looked like. Noticed a few of the cutscenes are more updated. Go to showcase, and I mean, if I click on it, is it going to put me in a cutscene? I don't know. So I went into showcase, and I did absolutely everything, as you can see here. Finished showcase. Don't think about MyFaction. Didn't think about the island. Purely played showcase, and this took me around 3 to 4 hours to complete. So upon completing showcase, I had everything unlocked. You might think, oh, he's going to go into universe mode now. I hopped immediately over to MyRise. So I created my character, and I wanted to do the first playthrough of MyRise. And at this point, I hadn't even touched universe mode, by the way. So what I'm trying to say is I dedicate a week, give or take. So I dedicated the 7th to the 14th of March purely on grinding things to make sure that my game feels more complete. And that's what I'd advise everybody to do. Because you pay a lot of money. If you're like me, you're paying $120 or, well, pounds or whatever it is. I want my money's worth. So, and I also want my universe mode to have unlimited possibilities, or the most possibilities it can, given what we get with the game. So that's the reason as to why I do this. So I set aside a week. Showcase will take you a night to complete. If you just sit there, focus on, stick it on easy mode, and just get it done. Get all your unlockables, get your money's worth. Enjoy the storytelling by Paul Heyman because he's a great narrator. You'll love that, and just enjoy that. I then hopped into MyRise. Now, I don't want to spoil MyRise for anybody because a lot of people would have played it. But what I will say is it's a game mode that does require multiple playthroughs. So, from what I can gather, there's 4 different kind of routes of unlockables. I'm not going to tell you what the unlockables are, but I am going to give you a little tip that you need to be really observant in MyRise, because there's certain things that you maybe not perceive as important, such as Troy Simpkins' live events, that actually will reward you with things that you might not know existed. So when you're in MyRise, it's nothing to do with the story. Make sure you explore all the options. and understandably so. This isn't a spoiler, but if you want completely fresh look on MyRise, just skip ahead. I'm only going to touch over live events, so if you're not that bothered, live events is not tied into the story, but it's how you obtain 90% of the MyRise characters. And so what I did is I loaded up MyRise on my first playthrough, and I got all the stars up until the end of the MyRise guys for the live events. Then I finished my first playthrough of MyRise, and I noticed that there was 3 different roads or 4 different roads I could take. So I wanted to go back and check them out. So at this point, I've done Showcase, I've done MyRise once, and I've unlocked all the live event stuff that I want. For now, I'll go back and get the rest later. That's not essential. Then I had a little delve into MyFaction and the island. First up, I went to MyFaction. I saw what Persona cards were available. I noticed World Tour was a very good game mode where you can actually get, I believe is it 5 Persona cards? I mean, I thought I'd complete them all, but if you go into World Tour, you can get John Cena 10, CM Punk 10, which does take a long time, by the way. It does take a long time to get CM Punk 10, but I'll give you a very quick guide. I think on this account I haven't completed it, I'm not sure. I have got CM Punk 10 though. So yeah, I've only completed these, but you start here, Orlando, Philly, you need to go to Chicago, over to Los Angeles, then back to Chicago to get Punk. And you can see the rewards. You get Solo, Bloodline, Suit, Ruby. That's more for MyFaction. Ultimate Warrior, no face paint. Kalani 23. Rob Van Dam 97, which I had to get. Cody Rhodes, Ruby, that's more for MyFaction. John Cena 10 if you like that era of 10, and of course CM Punk 10. And that's basically what I did next. So I grinded to get that CM Punk 10. Then I went through and did my second playthrough of MyRise, and I completely changed. I didn't have to do the live events because I'd already grinded them, because they carry over across all your MyRise playthroughs. So I went through MyRise again the second time, picking completely different choices. Got a whole batch of new unlockables that would be super helpful for my universe mode. So after completing MyRise the second time, I thought there's not much more. What possibly could I unlock more? I got option A, which was extra things for my universe. I don't want to spoil anything. Option B, which was extra things for my universe mode. Option C, yeah, it's optional stuff that I don't really need. So after doing options A and B, I then went over and set up my universe mode, which we'll talk about, but I just want to talk about the island. I did complete the first chapter of the island in the first week as well. I wanted to explore it. I love cosmetics, and there's so many great cosmetics in the island, so there's just not a lot of content there at the moment, but I'm sure it'll come good. And now what you're here for, after 13 minutes, I believe, the universe mode, which is what I do. So I like to keep everything divided. So for example, I do Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and then I do Ruthless Aggression. It's 2 different save files, so I don't have them. I know you can overlap weeks and put multiple shows on the same day. Oh, that's the wrong button. I'm going to go on universe mode and just show you what I mean. So if you're wanting to run multiple universe modes like me, then you can have 2 different save slots. And I think what would be crucial to show is, I think this one's a bit more simpler to run through. So I know this is going to be irrelevant to a lot of you, but I have actually had this question before, so I do just want to answer it real quick. So what is universe mode? Well, universe mode is a sandbox mode where you are in the position of the head of creativity and booking, and you have the ability to have as many shows or as little shows as you want, but you control this version of the wrestling universe, whether it be WWE, AEW. There's tons of community creations available where you can customize it to your heart's content. So now into 2K25 universe mode. Now it's a little bit different to 2K24. It's a lot slicker. So I'm not going to talk about like how to draft rosters and stuff like that in the 2K24 one. I'm just going to tell you how I set it up. So in options, I always do the same thing. I want full control. So in this universe mode, I have intergender wrestling, which is a new option, off. In the other one, I have it on. Automatic rivalries, if you want to book it yourself, do not turn this on. It's an absolute nightmare and it just creates rivalries. It does leave some slots free now. I personally turn tag team breakups and formations off. Although the AI can surprise you with some cool tag team breakups and some tag team formations, have full control of it yourself. Decide who and when you want to break up and who and when you want to put people together. And then I don't really run a money in the bank thing, but I always set these to 0. But obviously on the current universe, I set it to 0. And then of course I have injuries on because that's just the way it is. So as for the rosters, real quick, it's so much easier this year to draft your rosters. I can do it with one hand. So we've only got one here, but if I was to, I'm not going to do it because I can't be bothered like re-adding them. But if I was to scroll over here, I can see my entire Raw roster. Here it is. And if I wanted to unassign them all and start again, which is what you can do when you're setting up your universe mode. Say this is Raw on your universe mode and you're looking at it for the first time. Click square. It will unassign everybody. You can go across to all, go down, tick whoever you want, and then go away. And that's essentially it, guys. So, I mean, in terms of how I run my universe mode, it's a little bit different to probably how you guys would. So I write everything on a spreadsheet beforehand. So I have a Google Sheets, nothing fancy, no templates, not anything. Just a simple Google Docs and a spreadsheet. So for example here, let's just imagine, let's use the other one. Let's use the current day because that has what I need. But let's imagine I'm at this point in universe mode that I'm going to show you right now. So, I hope I don't delete it because that would be devastating. So say I'm at this point here where I'm going to scroll to now. This is where I began, like everybody. So how I book it, and I'm sure you guys will be different. I'm going to be completely honest. It takes time, and it will take days to do. So I always book backwards, and that's really weird to say, but like before I kick off even an episode of Raw, NXT, or SmackDown, I know what the match card is for Backlash. So why does he do that, you might ask? Well, if I have specific storylines and specific matches that I want to have at Backlash, then having on a spreadsheet what I'm going to have for Backlash when I'm starting with Raw, how do I introduce that? How do I progress it? So I always book backwards. So I'll write the episodes this way. I know it's weird and you probably can't get used to it, and I understand it, but trust me, if you can learn to book backwards, for some people it might be more suitable because it makes you focus on your storylines. And then I also have a roster list so that, say for example, this is just a completely random feud. If I'm having Cody and Roman, they're going to face off at Backlash for the WWE Undisputed title. Well, the week before, I don't really want them to have a match, but I want them to have a fight. I could do a promo. Before that, could we get Cody interrupting in a Roman match? We could have a tag team match between Roman and someone and Cody and someone. Here we could have a number one contenders match where Cody wins the opportunity to face Roman Reigns. Does that make sense? I hope it makes some kind of sense. And then I reapply it for NXT. So NXT is a little bit longer, but I always look for that focal point. So what's my next focal point? Well, my next focal point is NXT Battleground. So unfortunately on NXT I've had to book a bit further in advance. But then once I'm past Backlash, and I'm just going to use Raw and SmackDown as an example here, I'll sit down and I'll take my time. I will pre-record all these episodes and they'll be scheduled in for the future. So I'll see Clash at the Castle is next, and in between Clash at the Castle and Backlash is 3 weeks. What do I want my Clash at the Castle match card to look like? How can I get there given off what I've already done? And then once Clash at the Castle's done, I'll go to Money in the Bank. I'll see, it's a short period, but it's mainly going to be Money in the Bank qualifiers. So and then I'll decide, these are the people I want in the Money in the Bank. How can I set them up and use everybody on the roster but make them qualify? Well, Money in the Bank's a perfect opportunity to make people qualify because they get seen. As for setting up your rosters, completely up to you. The way I do mine is I'm not very good at managing mixed gender rosters. So the way I do it is I do Raw as all men's, SmackDown as all women's, and NXT as intergender. That's just so I don't miss people out, because I find when I have mixed rosters, and that's completely applicable to me, by the way. I don't recommend that for everybody. It's just That's just the way I manage best. When I have mixed rosters, I tend to forget people. I forget where people are. I've removed the element of wondering where people are on Raw and SmackDown, if that makes sense, so I can focus purely on the booking. And I think, oh, if there's a main roster woman or a man, then yeah, I've got Rhea Ripley, for example, as you can see here. I'm going to immediately know that she's on SmackDown without thinking too much about it, if that makes sense. Championships, completely up to you. What era you grew up in? Do you want it to be realistic? Do you want your own custom belts? Do you want different belts from different eras? Completely up to you. Rivalries I don't use, I book my own, but you can use them. Tag teams I go through, and now you've obviously got the branches off the factions, which I like. Superstars here, you can manage their overalls and do anything you want to do there. And that's essentially how to set it up. In terms of YouTube, and this is just if you've already watched the video, and that's basically all I've got to really say about how I've got to the point that I am now in universe mode, where I can just sit down, record, and or if you don't make YouTube videos, sit down, play, and just enjoy it, and not have to worry about other elements of the game outside of the online modes. If you're creating a YouTube channel, or you want to create a YouTube channel, I think the biggest thing a piece of advice that I'd give anybody is to just start it. Don't be embarrassed, don't worry. If you've got a PS5, you've got Share Factory, you've got a mic, you've got enough to make a video. Don't be embarrassed about what people will think. People will comment whatever they want to comment. As long as you're enjoying yourself and the content you make and you enjoy and other people enjoy, that's all that matters. Be persistent. I know you hear people say it all the time, but you will get a break. I would have never thought I got a break, but I did. And it's all about the effort you put in. And I really do believe it's the hours you do get in what you put out. So as long as you're spending time and trying to improve every single episode that you record, then you won't fail. I promise you. And on top of that, think about what kind of content you want to do. Do you want to just do universe mode? Do you want to do WWE 2K in general? Do you want to be a MyFaction guy, a MyRise person? Like, do you want to just do crazy matches? You could use the play mode to recreate dream matches, or recreate matches that have already happened, create dream matches that haven't happened. You can go into that genre. You can do what I do, which is a bit of I love universe mode, but I also like cause, so I like showing off people's creations, giving them appreciation, showcasing them to everybody. So I do entrances because I like doing that, and I like editing in and piping in the entrance noises and stuff like that. That's my element of creativity. But so they're my key basic piece of advice. Get over the stigma of starting. Is the biggest thing. I sat there umming and ahhing and debating whether I was going to start, and I started too late. And I'll be honest, if I would have started this when I wanted to start it back in 2K20, yeah, that's how long ago I've been debating doing it for, and I only just started in 2K24. Please don't debate. If it's something that you'd love to do as a hobby or whatever, please just start. There is plenty of space on this platform for so many creative people, and everybody who makes a universe mode, should they have the confidence and the equipment and the willingness to put it out there and share it with the world, there is always a space for you on YouTube. Everybody's different, and that's the wonderful thing about universe mode, is that everybody has different things, and that's what makes it so special. And why I do it, because everybody's different. I'm different to somebody else. I might sound like Goran Perkins, but I'm not like Noah Nation Gaming, for example, who also, these guys are like the idols for people like me. So you got to take a little bit of what's made them successful, put your own spin on it. There's a space for everybody on YouTube in universe mode. So just get started. And in terms of recording, if you think how am I going to get consistent, how can I make content and not just stop and start, set yourself time aside. Explain to yourself that if you do want to be relatively successful in anything in life, you've got to dedicate time to it, and that's just part of it. If you're not, it's not the fact that you can't find time, it's the fact that you won't. And I know that sounds really harsh, but it's the truth. I don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to do this, so I dedicated every minute that I had to making this as enjoyable as possible for everybody, and that's what will separate people who are successful from people who aren't. It's how much you want to do it and how much you're willing to dedicate the time. It takes sacrifice. I would not sit here and tell you that I would have got to the position I am just by uploading. It was not. This universe mode I've created took weeks and hours many short sleep nights, but I'm really, and when you get to the point, and everybody who's watching this video can get to this point, it's not impossible. I'm not the funniest guy on the planet. I'm not, well, I like to think I'm somewhat entertaining sometimes, but I just was motivated to do it, and it's what I wanted to do, and I was willing to go through the graphic creation, the thumbnail creation. I hate swapping renders on match cards. You guys, if you see what I'm like when I'm creating them match cards before, I'm like to put in the video, I'm like, oh, for God's sake, not this again. I'm swapping renders out. But it's all worth it, trust me. So dedicate some time. Set yourself a schedule. If you can't set yourself a consistent day, make sure you're consistent in terms of weeks. Pre-plan your stuff, get it pre-prepared, get ahead, and that's the advice I give to you. If you've got any questions, any more questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try and answer them the best I am. Like I say, I'm not an expert. I'm just a young British boy who is trying to share a little bit of motivation and a little bit of advice on you guys starting your own WWE 2K journeys on content creation and in private, and trying to make you enjoy the game as much as I do, because I don't hate the game. I'm not mad at the game. I don't even worry about the bugs. I love the game, and I know you all do too. So think about it, sit down. How can you be different? How can you share with the world what you've created and how amazing you are? Well, that's completely up to you. But as for me, I'm going to go get a warm cup of maybe cocoa. I don't know. I'm going to chill out. I'm going to play some MyFaction. And hopefully you guys took something from this video. And if you did, brilliant. If you didn't, then I'm sorry. But I tried. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.